What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, June 7th, 2019. This is a live stream, a little bit longer. If you're a replay viewer, you can go to the pinned comment in the comment section below, kind of hop around to different parts of the video that you would like to watch. In the meantime, I'm going to give it a few minutes as we let some people get in here for the live stream. I've enjoyed, actually, most recently starting to do some pre-recorded or recorded short videos, 5 minutes or so. I'm going to get in the habit of doing that once we move here in the next month or so into the new studio. So bear with me as I kind of pivot myself into that new habit, but I think it'll work well. Short video every day, kind of giving an update on what's going on in the markets, Bitcoin and Litecoin in particular. Right now, Bitcoin above $8,000, looking nice. Litecoin was just above 120, looking even nicer. Last day or so, Litecoin making some moves. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Like I said, going to give it a couple minutes. We have some people in the chats. What's up, Steven Herzog? I see you. I see Crypto Nana. I see Nadine, Alan, Michael from Ireland. What is up, Michael from Ireland? Rich, Wendell. What's up, everybody? I appreciate you coming by on this Friday afternoon. Getting ready to go out, hang out with Sarah for a little bit. Looking forward to it. It's a beautiful day. I hope you're getting ready to enjoy your weekend. Let's stall a little bit as we get ready to start this video. I tweeted a little bit ago about Facebook and their cryptocurrency. By the way, I'm not bullish on. So here's a few things. If you're not familiar with it, Facebook obviously creating their own cryptocurrency, getting ready to launch pretty soon. Here are some points. Coin name, I believe Libra is going to be the name. At least right now, it's the what people are saying is the code name. I don't know if that's going to be the actual listed name. Number 2, stablecoin. Stablecoin. It's a stablecoin. It's going to be a stablecoin. Number 3, can be transferred within the Facebook ecosystem with no fee. In that little beautiful Facebook bubble that Facebook loves to protect, you can trade or you can send with no fee. Number 4, Facebook paying companies $10 million to run nodes for validation. I think a lot of us are drawn, I'm pretty sure, to cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in general for its decentralization aspects, for one. So this is a pretty hilarious point that Facebook's paying companies $10 million to run their nodes for validation, validating transactions. So long story short, it's an attempt by Facebook to ride Bitcoin coattails and replace BTC. It's like, what was it, a year or two ago, not even 2 years ago, Facebook's banning crypto-related content and ads, and now here they are creating their own cryptocurrency. They're riding coattails, everybody, of this technology. You know, big corporation, multi-billion dollar corporation doing what they do best. And I end it by saying it will fail, and only intro users to Bitcoin. They just don't get it, which many big corporations don't understand in terms of what cryptocurrency is and why people are attracted to it. So it will fail for so many reasons. And if anything, I'm not really hating on Facebook and their cryptocurrency. I'm really not, because at the end of the day, guess what? They're going to expose tons of people to cryptocurrency, and those people will be like, okay, we have the Libra coin, that's interesting, but what is cryptocurrency? And they're going to look, and they're going to see Bitcoin, they're going to find Litecoin, they're going to find the actual benefits of it that are not offered by Facebook's cryptocurrency, and they're going to see the many benefits of Bitcoin, of Litecoin, and they're going to jump on the movement, everybody. They're going to jump into the space. Many doors are being opened for cryptocurrency space. Many doors are being opened for what we always are talking about, right? Mass adoption. And this is just one of those small little doors. So thank you, Facebook, for trying to ride the coattails of Bitcoin trying to do something like this. I appreciate it. Not very innovative at all, but thank you, because you're opening just one door of hundreds and hundreds of doors that big corporations are opening by trying to hop on the coattails, bringing free press, free media, free attraction to Bitcoin, Litecoin, and really the whole aspect of what makes it true, which is decentralization, this peer-to-peer network. So my brother John Kim is in the chat. What's up, dude? I hope you're doing well over at Poseidon Lou's house. Crazy. Poseidon Lou, he cracks me up. And I can't believe you two are hanging out together. So I just tweeted a little bit ago. I said Litecoin, obviously, Litecoin overtook Bitcoin Cash. I'm going to refresh this to make sure it's still so, because I ended by saying for now or for today, because as we all know, tomorrow Litecoin could be back in number 5. But for now, Bitcoin or Litecoin number 4, coin market cap, surpassing Bitcoin Cash. Love that. Look at Litecoin in the top 10. Here it is, pretty much 15% in the last 24 hours. I just love it. And it's almost like Litecoin always is just kind of leading the way, right? When we saw Litecoin move yesterday, it was almost a sure thing to buy some Bitcoin, because Bitcoin wasn't doing anything. And it's almost just like, all right, Litecoin's moving. It looks like Bitcoin might be getting ready to kind of catch up, so to speak. And right now, Bitcoin above $8,000. We'll see what happens. We're going to dig into the charts a little bit. Let's start here around seven minutes into the video. This is a tweet. I just tweeted. When did I tweet this? Oh, this is, so, I want to ask people in here, because I know when I tweeted this, some people were accumulating. This was on Tuesday, right? I think Tuesday, June 4th. I bought some Bitcoin. I posted this chart. I said last 4 times the 4-hour RSI was this oversold on Bitcoin proved to be an excellent area to accumulate BTC. Choose wisely, right? And I said choose wisely because it's like it's always a little risky business accumulating Bitcoin if you're really looking at the short term, right? So while it wasn't a guarantee, the charts weren't lying. You can look at the bottom of my screen here. I think my head's in the way, but you can see this little arrow, like right over here. One of the last 4 or 5 times, Bitcoin oversold on the RSI, and every time that's happened, it's proven to be a good time. So I'm just curious, in this chat alone, press 1 if you've been accumulating Bitcoin on this most recent little dip that we had, going down to, I think, what was it, $7,400 or so. I'm curious to know, because it was a nice area. I bought some on Tuesday, nothing crazy. It's not like I'm trading it. It's just one of those small little dips that I lightly bought. It's not one of those heavy dips that I'm heavily accumulating. But these are the things that I'm talking about in terms of buying dips, buying red days. Buying a $7,400 Bitcoin the other day on Tuesday down here, and then right now we're at $8,000. Is it's good for your mental health. Buying the dip, whether on short term, especially long term, is good for your mental health. It's why I do this channel. It's why I do technical analysis. I just always want to be buying the dip. It's just truly what I want to do. So let me know if you've been buying and accumulating. I saw a couple super chats I'm going to visit real quick. We have Alan with a super chat. I can never figure out what currency that is, but thank you so much for the super chat. It says $1,000 for LTC. I'm thinking they're saying that LTC is going to $1,000. Thank you for the super chat for LAUNCHPAD Foundation. I truly appreciate it. I appreciate you coming by, Alan. And we had another one. We have MTS with the $1.99 super chat. Do you believe we will see $500 to $1,000 Litecoin this year? I'll say this. I don't think we're going to end like this year. I don't think we're going to end this year with a $500 to $1,000 Litecoin. Number one, I hope I'm wrong. Number two, that doesn't mean we might not get into the $500 range this year. I just don't think we'll end there. And I don't actually even think we're going to get into the $500 range this year. But with that being said, this is kind of a good segue into this chat. Poseidon Lou is in the house. He says, come on, LTC, $9.99 super chat. Thanks, Lou, for the super chat. I could not believe the closet of shoes that I just saw that you had. Unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Sarah saw it as well. And we were in awe of your shoe collection. Thanks for the super chat, man. So, segue, right? $500 to $1,000 Litecoin. It truly is possible. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's definitely in play. And the segue is for this video as we hop into technical analysis, now 11 minutes in, is this. Bitcoin and Litecoin really beginning to diverge away from just the whole trend out of that 2015 bear market. Bitcoin and Litecoin, and I'll go to Bitcoin zoomed out chart here just so you have an illustration and you can picture what I'm saying. Bitcoin and Litecoin both have really consistently provided excellent harmony for us as we're looking at the charts of this recent bear market, right, to where we are now. There's so much consistency in what has happened most recently compared to this last bear market and coming out of that bear market. But what's happening now is Bitcoin and Litecoin kind of starting to diverge a little bit away from the pattern, right? From where it saw resistance. Namely, if we're just taking a quick glance on this weekly chart on Bitcoin, 50 week moving average resistance here in the last bear market. Not a ton of, rejection or resistance this time around, right? Bitcoin just kind of breaking through it. And you see that by the red weekly candles. There's only a couple, and they're very small in terms of Bitcoin from, January, February, even December of 2018. So Bitcoin definitely has been going crazy a little bit, right? So it begs the question, like, are we ever going to get this massive pullback in Bitcoin and in Litecoin? And I guess to answer that question, we can start digging into the charts a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about on the daily chart real quick, just so you have some context, is this. I wanted to look at the momentum oscillators for Bitcoin, just to kind of show with where we are right now, the upside potential. I'm not going to sit here do a crazy bullish live stream. I don't do that usually. Even if I am short term or long-term bullish, however I am, I don't really hype things up. I kind of just look at the charts and talk about it. So here's what I'm seeing. There's upside potential for Bitcoin in terms of the RSI, our slower moving momentum oscillator, right here in the middle at 55. There's a ton of upside potential in terms of Bitcoin. So to give you a sense of, and you can do something like this over and over. Last time we were around 55 and we saw a nice run for Bitcoin was right here. And this is what we're going to dig into on the 4-hour charts. We're on the daily right now. But last time we were at this point on the momentum oscillator, right around 50, 55, was when we were actually breaking this formation of a rising wedge, right? We broke through the bottom, and I'm going to get let me make this a little bigger. We broke through the bottom, right? A semi-bearish move, and then we busted that entire setup and just continued up. And that's right here, the last time we were this over, or I shouldn't say oversold. This is just where we were on the RSI down here in the middle of 50, right? That's the last time. Now, what's interesting is we're getting a similar type of setup, and we'll see this on the 4-hour chart in a second, which is we had a rising wedge. We had this bearish, at least on the short term, bearish break to the downside. And right now, we are getting a little bounce. Whether or not this continues or not is what we're going to talk about. But look at the similarities in terms of both of these same type of patterns. breaking to the downside, right, with where we are in the RSI, oversold on the stock RSI, similarly now oversold on the stock RSI, and now we're just kind of waiting to see if this is going to get a similar move. So from when we had that busted rising wedge back in, I guess we can say end of April, beginning of May, from that swing low, Bitcoin saw from swing low to swing high, 82% gains, right? That's how much upward potential there really is in terms of Bitcoin right now. Am I saying, well, we got 82% gains then, we're going to get 82% gains now? No, that's really not how the charts work, but theoretically, 100% possible, right? It could work out. It could work like that. We could be at a $13,000 Bitcoin. That's not really our target to the upside. That is more of around $11,000, a little over $11,000. But that's what we're looking at. Very similar setup right now in terms of Bitcoin. The question is, if we go to the 4 hour, are we going to start seeing any rejection, resistance, right? So here's what these setups look like on the 4 hour. Here's that last rising wedge back here in April, breaking to the downside, trading slightly above the 200 moving average, this pink line, and then breaking back up above the 50 moving average on the 4 hour through the bottom trend line, getting some consolidation back in that triangle, or the apex of this rising wedge, I guess you could say, and then breaking back above. And really, essentially, right around here is when this was considered a busted pattern from our technical analysis point of view. So moving on to where we are now, we have a similar setup, right? So right now, our very short-term resistance is this 50 moving average around $8,200 on the 4 hour chart here. That's where our 50 moving average is, and that's kind of what we're going to be looking for to see if what happens when we get there, right? Last time we broke above it. Are we going to break above it again? That's our very short-term resistance, but then we have a ways to go to get back to this this lower trend line here. We have around it's around, from where we are now, around 8,900, 9,000. It can happen quick, but time will tell. I first want to see if we can break above the 50 moving average, but right now, $9,000, around 11% away. So let's see what happens. I see somebody said a blurry screen. I'm curious to see how the quality is, because I'm actually seeing a blurry screen on my end too. So if the quality is bad, please let me know, everybody. I'll do my best to kind of get through it. Moving on to Litecoin, because obviously we have some Bitcoin charts here. 50 moving average, $8,200 on the short term. See what happens. Moving upwards from there. Let's see if, number one, we get support above that $8,200, and if we can make a charge to this bottom trend line, and what's going to happen there. We just want to break through it, right? So keep an eye on that on the 4 hour charts and let me know. Okay, Litecoin. Now, Litecoin just has a mind of its own. Litecoin looking crazy since December. I always say it, but I can't help myself. On the weekly chart, really just one thing I want to show you is this. If you're looking at the weekly chart on Litecoin, the biggest thing that just kind of stands out to me is we had this RSI seeing this resistance here, right at that overbought entrance, and we're talking beginning of April, right? And here we go on the charts right here. And we saw a similar type of resistance like at that area in the exit of that last bear market, right? That first swing high, but we got big resistance and we came back down to the 50 moving average. We came back down and consolidated on the RSI. So when this happened at the beginning of April, we're saying, okay, something similar is happening, right? We're coming back down. We might see like a pretty drastic dip down to that $60 area, the 50-week moving average for Litecoin, and we did. We got a few weeks. It's not like, it's not like we weren't 3 weeks worth of consolidation, because we were. And from swing high to swing low around $68, it was 31% to the downside. It was a pretty hefty little consolidation and dip. but it didn't continue as strong or for as long as, at least I was anticipating. I didn't think we would get such a quick bounce in terms of Litecoin momentum that we've gotten, and you see it on the RSI. So this is one of those first signs that Litecoin has really just kind of diverged away from what it has done in the past, what it did out of that last bear market, right? And you get a sense of what it did. It came back down and just kind of was sideways for a while above the 50 moving average. That hasn't happened yet in this case, right? We came back down, but since we've come back down on this weekly chart, you can see we've actually just saw new gains once again of around 75 or 80% or so. So Litecoin kind of just taking off a little bit. Its upward momentum looking extremely strong, and it's just something to keep an eye on. If we want to dig into what we're looking at on the short term, we get a really good sense of it. So similarly to Bitcoin, we have this. We have the momentum oscillators not looking terrible. At the very least, you can see the histogram. We're approaching zero on the histogram down here at the bottom of the screen on the MACD screen, right? So we had this little pullback recently, and our momentum has shifted in the last day or so, and we're approaching the zero line on the histogram for the MACD, right? So we have this MACD line approaching the signal line, this red signal line once again. That looks good for the short term for Litecoin, right? So what this is saying to me is there's absolutely upward room for Litecoin to continue. And if it continues, where might that price take us? We're going to talk about that in a minute. But I just first want to visit the stock RSI now. This quicker moving momentum oscillator. You have this MACD line crossing above out of this oversold area down here. Again, tons of room for upward momentum. And then lastly, RSI, nice upward trend on the daily chart, not in that overbought area. Again, similar to Bitcoin, tons of room to the upside. What does upside look like? Here's the thing. First, from a pattern perspective, what's really cool is this. Yesterday, I did a video about this potential, and let me zoom in here. For Bitcoin, this potential busted rising wedge, right? And I did it because we had this potential. We had a busted pattern back here before. It's very similar. That's why I did the video. But what's really cool is Litecoin, as it always does, or often does, I should say, Litecoin has its own busted pattern first, before Bitcoin, almost leading the way as it always does. And here is what it looks like. So number one, we had this symmetrical triangle that we tracked back in May, right? We had a breakout. We know how it played out. We anticipated both a downside and an upside target. We hit our upside target almost perfectly, and we fell into a new symmetrical triangle. This symmetrical triangle, you can see, was actually beginning to break down. It did break down. We broke the bottom trend line and actually had a swing low to $97. And when something like that happens, we always talk about, okay, and I think we were talking about this on the 4-hour, let's see if we revisit the bottom trend line, right? Whenever we get a breakout of a pattern, we're conservatively looking for a revisit of the trend line that we broke out of to see if we can kind of break back through it, right? So we had a revisit in the last couple days to that bottom trend line right around $106. We were looking for resistance for potential continued downside, and we didn't get it. And what actually has happened is we have a busted symmetrical triangle in play right now. So I don't even think I have a 4-hour chart. So let's look at the 4-hour chart. This is what the busted symmetrical triangle looks like on Litecoin charts, and it's playing out very nicely. From swing low out of that symmetrical triangle to the downside, we have to the most previous swing high, which is where we are right now, 23% gains, everybody, from June 4th. 23% gains for Litecoin in 3 days, after all we're already just having ridiculous gains since December. This is like an amazing time to be in cryptocurrency. If you're Litecoin long, this is an amazing time for all of us. And I really can't, I don't talk about that a lot. I don't like to hype things up, but after going through like a long bear market, you know, and seeing crazy losses, this is ridiculous. Like almost 500% Litecoin is up since December. That doesn't happen unless you get lucky in like, you know, a penny stock or something. It just doesn't happen. And it just makes me giddy to think about how early we are and how much, as much as this is exciting being up almost 500% in Litecoin since December, how much it doesn't really surprise me. And I honestly don't think it surprises many of you either. And the reason that is because, number one, we have consistent data historically that suggested that something like this would happen. But number two, I think we all believe in this technology so much that we are little mini VCs. We're investors into this technology because we believe it's going to work and we believe in its success. So when we see it succeeding, not only from a technological standpoint, right? Things like hash rate, things like adoption, but when we see it succeeding on the charts and in price and we're up 500%, it doesn't surprise us. It's why we've been buying. It's why we've been investing. I love that. And I really like thinking about that and pondering that, because there's many people out there, you know, in all of our lives that are just so, I don't want to say negative about Bitcoin and Litecoin and cryptocurrency, but they're just not on board, you know? And it's kind of like you're fighting against that. You're not trying to convince anybody, but you're fighting against the negativity of the people that don't believe in the space, that don't even care about it. So it's pretty crazy. I just went off on a tangent. I'm sorry. But here's the 4-hour chart, up 23% in 3 days. That's basically what we're looking at. And busted triangle really, I think, really is confirmed once we get to, if we can break that $122. It's something I'm looking for in the short term. And then from there, you know, we can call it a busted triangle. This previous swing high that we had on May 27th, $122.40. Are we going to break it? We will see. In terms of target for this pattern is $142. So right around $140 to the upside. I'll tell you what, Bitcoin, Litecoin, I've mentioned on the last live stream, I think, you know, buying a little here and there, either way. Bitcoin the other day, I think Tuesday, June 4th, bought a little bit. Not heavy accumulation. We didn't get the pullback I was anticipating for me to buy heavy, right? But when we're getting things like this happening, 23%, I don't know if we'll hit a target of $140 or so for Litecoin. For me, I don't know about you, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this ride from accumulating in the $20, right? From putting up with a bear market for a year or so. I'm just enjoying myself right now. And obviously not getting emotional about it, anticipating where there's leverage, where there's opportunity. For me, it's always in the dips. But for now, at least as I'm doing this video, enjoying it. I'm not going to talk about dips right now. I know the potential is there. You know the potential is there. This thing could see resistance at 120 right now, and we can be at $90 tomorrow, right? We know that. And those are the situations where I'm more keen to buy. But after we buy in those situations, after we've accumulated for how long, it's nice to just enjoy the ride. It really is. So for now on Litecoin, this is the pattern we're watching right now. Let's see if it plays out. Let's see if we get a continued run right now to the upside. And I want to revisit Bitcoin simply because I think on the short term, this is just probably the biggest area we can watch going into today as I end this live stream. $8,200 I really want to see if we can make a run up to that area. You know, if not, want to see if we hold support and consolidate within certain type of range here, the 200 moving average, right? So if we don't make the move above now, it doesn't mean we might not just trade sideways for some time, right? If you remember the last time we had a similar setup like this, we traded sideways a little bit before actually moving up. So I'd be very interested to see, but a word of caution, if we do get rejection here at the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart around $8,200, just be careful there. You know, anticipate the worst, anticipate anything happening for continued downside. But for right now, that's the short-term targets, and it's kind of what we're looking at. If you take Fibonacci on the daily chart, you kind of get a picture of where we're getting heavy resistance. So $8,200 on that 4-hour chart. And then here on the Fibonacci, we have our Fibonacci retracement area, 8,700 or so down to 8,400. That is swing high up here to swing low. And a more consistent actual Fibonacci would actually probably be right down here. Let me get rid of these lines. If we expand this daily chart, we have this swing high here is where we should be using for Fibonacci to swing low. We have our 618 to 786. So here's our 618 line around 8,300, 786 around 8,500. That's an area of resistance. Also confluent with this lower trend line that we truly want to break for Bitcoin. That would be very bullish. That would be exactly what it did back here, breaking back above this trend line. And actually, you can even see, if you take that pattern that we're trying to replicate right now, you take Fibonacci retracement from swing high, I mean, it's really happened quick. You can see that similar 618, 786 line here, right? We can extend this very close to what's setting up right now. So this whole entire area from 8,500 down to 8,300, and we can call it 8,200 because we have this 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart. So $8,200 up to $8,500, which is right around here. What's going to happen? I think that's probably the best area to watch for Bitcoin right now. Let's see. I appreciate everybody coming by here on a Friday afternoon. Time for me to get out of here. I hope you all enjoy your day. If you're a replay viewer or if you're here right now live, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as part of the channel. I truly appreciate everybody coming by. I truly appreciate you. Exciting times that we live in right now in cryptocurrency world. Let's track it. Let's see what happens. As always, I will see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your Friday, and God bless.